Oh, come in, come away in. What an extraordinary thing. You've come on a great chair. Do close the wardrobe door behind you. Well, although be sure not to lock yourself in. Well done, you've tracked me down. I'm not in my usual study for our spell in the library, but I'm here at Queen's University in Belfast in their new library here and in the special C.S. Lewis reading room. Magic, I have to say. Come on, look at this table. So, look at this. This is the Pauline Baines Narnia illustrations. Really beautifully laid out and sort of blown up. It's magical. And they've got, as you can imagine, all kinds of, they've got letters of his here, they've got first editions of all of the Narnia books. They've also got, as it were, secondary material. And I have to say, it chuffed me a little since I was visiting here as a pilgrim. Lo and behold, you just come along here. They've got this little book, C.S. Lewis and His Circle, to which I made a modest contribution. I gave a talk long ago, at the C.S. Lewis Society in Oxford on that theme of the yearning for a far-off country that's there famously in The Weight of Glory, which they also have a first edition of the SBCK booklet, The Weight of Glory. Hey, have a seat. This is wearing this particularly special place, and I tell you what, I'll read you a bit of a distance here, but yeah, come a little closer. Just take that seat there. Yeah, that's fine. So, when I gave this talk in Oxford, which was a long time ago, I was very conscious that, notwithstanding that Lewis had been a great light of both Oxford and Cambridge, that the current sort of establishment of, particularly the kind of, perhaps the English, were really quite dismissive of him as some kind of doddery old fogey, some kind of, backwater, person who never caught up with the 20th century, all that kind of thing, and somehow, therefore, unenlightened and insensitive. And I really thought that, the evidence does not bear that out. So I tried to argue that a little bit in this paper, in which I contrast his way of writing with a lot of modern literary criticism. I said, modern critical theory, modern, as it were, post-structuralist or hyper-theory or meta-criticism, the kind of theory which, far from bringing you to the quick of your own soul or the author's, seems to keep you at an infinite distance, interposing layer upon layer of social or linguistic theory between you and the text. So modern literary criticism, instead of being something that enables you to be touched to the quick and changed by what you read, is really almost like a sort of lead-lined gloves that people in nuclear stations have to wear to protect them from any reaction with the material they're handling. But in this passage from The Weight of Glory, Lewis reaches out through all the layers of defense and distance and irony with which academics wrap themselves and touches his listeners almost in spite of themselves. No wonder he's afraid they will think he's committing an indecency. Here's what Lewis says. In speaking of this desire for our own far-off country, which we find in ourselves even now, I feel a certain shyness. I'm almost committing an indecency. I'm trying to rip open the inconsolable secret in each of you, the secret which hurts so much that you take revenge on it by calling it names like nostalgia and romanticism and adolescence, the secret also which pierces with such sweetness that in very intimate conversation, the mention of it becomes imminent. We grow awkward and affect to laugh at ourselves. The secret we cannot hide and cannot tell, though we desire to do both. Now, I pause in reading Lewis to note this acute psychological insight from Lewis, his alertness to how ambivalent our deepest feelings are. Cannot hide, cannot tell, though we desire to do both. And then Lewis goes on, we cannot tell it because it's a desire for something that has never actually appeared in our experience. We cannot hide it because our experience is constantly suggesting it. And we betray ourselves like lovers at the mention of a name. Our commonest expedient is to call it beauty and behave as if that settled the matter. Wordsworth's expedient was to identify it with certain moments in his own past. But all that is a cheat. If Wordsworth had gone back to those moments in the past, he wouldn't have found the thing itself, but only the reminder of it. What he remembered would turn out to be itself a remembering. The book or the music in which we thought beauty was located will betray us if we trust them. It was not in them. And then I write in my commentary, then comes a very key distinction for Lewis, the distinction between the word in and the word through. It was not in them, it only came through them. And what came through was longing. These things, the beauty, the memory of our past, are good images of what we really desire. But if they're mistaken for the thing itself, they'll turn into dumb idols, breaking the hearts of their worshippers. For they are not the thing itself. They are only the scent of a flower we have not found, the echo of a tune we have not heard, news from a country we have never visited. End of the quote. It's extraordinary how the prose rises to the condition of poetry in that beautiful peroration. The scent of a flower we have not found, the echo of a tune we have not heard, news from a country we have never yet visited. There is a double admission here, both of what's found and not found. The combination of yearning and incompleteness is tremendously honest. Now, it seems to me that passages or even phrases like this give the lie to the facile caricature of Lewis as a sort of tweed-coated, hide-bound, blustering, donnish person full of prejudice and bombast. This is not the language of a boorish or blustering person who's trying to browbeat you with his conservative dogmatism. For people of my generation, coming freshly to this sermon, preached in Oxford in 1941, it feels more like the open-ended music that stirred us in a song like U2's I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, more like that than like the Lewis that dismissive modern English dons or liberal theologians have told us to expect. So that's my little thing, and anyway, it's very nice to find it, if I may say so, a book in the wardrobe. There's a real sense in which we've come through. And all of this spread on the table before you, this Narnia, is that not itself also a glimpse of the far-off country that we yearn for? The far-off country, the Aslan's country, the utter east that Reepicheep finds? I think so. Anyway, thanks for finding me in this of all places. Good to see you, and see you again sometime. Okay, God bless. I'm going to stay in the wardrobe.